I had the opportunity to visit and pray at the Ernakulatappan Shiva Temple situated in Ernakulam, Kerala. While circumambulating the temple, I came across this signboard declaring, "My devotee will never perish." These words were like an asariri to us, a divine voice that seems to have carried a message to have an unshakable faith in the deity. With that positive vibe, I asked my dad about the history of the temple, and together we gathered the following information from the internet, which we will share in this video. The Sthalapuranam, or the history and legend of the temple, is closely associated with the great epic Mahabharata. After the game of dice, where the Pandavas were defeated comprehensively by the Kauravas and Shakuni through deceit, the Kauravas sent the Pandavas in exile for 12 years to the forest. The Pandavas also had to spend the 13th year in exile in Agyatavasa, which is to be incognito and conceal their identity. Lord Krishna suggested that while they were spending their time in the forest, the Pandavas should prepare for the great war which may arise between the Pandavas and the Kauravas in future by acquiring supreme weapons for themselves by performing penance. The Lord advised Nakula and Sahadeva to invoke Ashwini Kumars, the celestial doctors, and acquire unique healing methods and techniques. Bhima was to meet Lord Hanumar and learn the art of concentration and fighting. Yudhishthira and Draupadi were to serve the sages in the forest to get their divine blessings. And finally, Lord Krishna asked Arjuna to go to the Indrakiladri hill near Vijayawada and meditate on Lord Shiva to acquire the most powerful weapon, the Pashupatastra. Following the advice of Lord Krishna, Arjuna took leave of his brothers to perform intense penance to acquire the powerful Pashupatastra from Lord Shiva himself. Arjuna spent most of his days immersed in penance on Lord Shiva. As his penance became more and more intense, Lord Shiva was pleased. However, he decided to test Arjuna before giving him the Pashupatastra weapon. When Parvati and Shiva Ganas came to know about this, they also decided to go in disguise and watch how Lord Shiva would test Arjuna. Lord Shiva and Parvati disguised themselves as hunters and came to where Arjuna was doing tapas. The Shiva Ganas also came there as hunters' tribesmen. Meanwhile, a Rakshasa named Mukasura came in the form of a wild boar to attack Arjuna. Hearing the noise made by the wild boar, Arjuna's penance got disturbed and he immediately shot an arrow at the boar, killing it. At the same time, Shiva, who was there in the guise of a hunter, also shot an arrow at the boar. Both Lord Shiva and Arjuna came running and saw the boar lying down with 2 arrows piercing its body. There now arose an argument between the hunter and Arjuna as to who actually shot an arrow first and killed the boar. The argument finally ended up in a battle between the two of them. In the great battle that followed between them, Arjuna exhausted all his arrows and his quiver became empty. The hunter had easily defeated Arjuna. Arjuna then picked up a sword to fight, but the hunter sliced his swords into 2. Finally, they both started wrestling, and the hunter overpowered Arjuna. He lifted Arjuna again and again and threw him down. Realizing that he was losing, Arjuna decided to pray to Lord Shiva for strength. He called for a break in the fight, quickly made a small Shivalinga out of mud, and invoked the Lord in it by offering flowers. To his astonishment, Arjuna saw the flowers offered by him to the Shivalinga at the hunter's feet. Arjuna now realized that the hunter who had overpowered him so easily was none other than Lord Shiva himself. Arjuna fell at the Lord's feet and begged for forgiveness for engaging in a battle with him. Lord Shiva and Parvati gave darshan to Arjuna in their true form and blessed him with the divine weapon Pashupatastra. The denizens of the heavens, Lord Indra, Varuna, Yama, Kubera, and others also blessed Arjuna by giving him their divine weapons. Lord Shiva showered his grace and blessings upon Arjuna and gave him the title Vijaya, meaning invincible and ever victorious. In fact, in Srimad Bhagavad Purana, in the dialogue between Sri Krishna and his devotee Uddhava, the Lord declares, "Among those who are experts in archery, I am Arjuna himself." Such is the prowess of Arjuna when it comes to archery. After acquiring the Pashupatastra, Arjuna left the place and soon the area was covered in dense forest, uninhabited for a long time. The existence of the Shivalinga made by Arjuna also disappeared from everybody's memories. Centuries later, a boy named Devala, who had been cursed by a sage, now had a body of a snake and crawled into the forest and saw the Shivalinga completely submerged in the mud. He worshipped this lingam in deep penance with the hope for redeeming from the curse. Soon, a few people spotted this mysterious man with the body of a snake and called him Rishi Nagam or Saint Serpent and feared even to come near him. Some even tried to thwart him by stones and sticks. Unmoved by all these actions, Rishi Nagam continued his severe penance. Finally, Lord Shiva and Parvati appeared in their original form and asked the sage to take a dip in the nearby pond. As soon as he immersed himself in the pond, he was redeemed from his curse. Soon, a new idol appeared just near this original lingam. It was Shiva Parvati, who appeared in the form of the linga. It is this Gauri Shankara Rupam that is seen as Swambulingam in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Based on this legend, the pond also got its new name, Rishi Ernakulam, which means the pond of Rishi Nagam, and the temple was constructed by the public. The city Eranakulam also derives its name from this pond. Eranakulam is said to be the corrupted name of Eranakulam, meaning the pond which always has water. The famous pond is located just outside the temple's presence. The presiding deity of the temple faces west towards the Arabian Sea. The lingam in the main sanctum sanctorum is considered to be Swayambhu, that is, divinely derived. On the northern side of the main sanctum sanctorum, one can still see a small shrine named Kiratamurthy, where the original lingam worshipped by Arjuna is still worshipped. Kirata roughly translates as hunter or the head of a forest dwelling tribe. On the southern side, a small shrine for Lord Ganesha is seen. There is a small area behind the main sanctum sanctorum, considered to be the abode of goddess Parvati, and hence the east gate is known as Devi Gate. Outside the inner temple circle, shrines of Lord Ayyappa and Nagaraja is worshipped. The entire architecture of the temple is in a typical Kerala style structure. The temple is located on a 1.2 acre land and has ample space for circumambulating the temple. One round around the temple takes a good 3 to 4 minutes and also doubles up as a leisure activity for elders who want to mix up an active lifestyle and devotion. The sanctum complex is circular with fine sculpted walls. The roof is covered with copper tiles. The temple has 2 gates. The western Gopuram is a 2-story structure in typical Kerala architecture with gabled roofs and slanting windows. Adjacent to the main Shivan temple, 2 other temples are constructed in the temple grounds, which make up the Eranakulam temple complex. On the northern side, a Murugan temple is built in Tamil style can be seen. It was constructed by Tamil residents of Kochi during the administration of Divan Venkataswamy. The Murugan Koval is managed by the Tamil Brahmin Association of Eranakulam, and all rituals in this temple are in accordance with Tamil style. The presiding deity is Lord Muruga with his consorts Valli and Devanai. There are 2 separate shrines for Navagrahas and Ganesha. On the eastern side, a Hanuman temple built in Kannadiga Udupi style can be seen. It was constructed by Divan Venkat Rao in 1850 as a part of his dream to have a temple in traditional Udupi Madhva Sampradaya style. This is one of the very few temples constructed in Madhva Sampradaya without Krishna as main deity. The presiding deity is Lord Hanuman, facing towards Shivan temple on western side. A small idol of Lord Rama is also worshipped in the main sanctum sanctorum. Apart from this, shrines of Lord Nagaraja and Raghavendra Swami are also worshipped. Eranakulam Shiva Temple is one of the must-visit temples if you ever go to Kerala. As Lord Shiva declares, those with steadfast faith in the deity will never perish.